My father wasn't distant. He was silent. And for a long time, I didn't understand that his silence wasn't a wall keeping me out. It was a shield keeping the world from breaking me. For years, I completely mistook his quietness for indifference. When he came home from work and sat on a couch without speaking, I thought it was a lack of interest in my world. When he looked past me, staring into nothing while dinner was being served, I thought he was somewhere else entirely. I wanted a father who gave grand speeches. I wanted the cinematic version of fatherhood, the man who conquered life out loud, who handed out passionate advice, who was always ready to rally the troops with perfect words. But life doesn't operate on a Hollywood script. It took me getting older, moving away, facing my own failures, and eventually hitting rock bottom to realize a brutal truth about masculinity, family, and survival. The moment a man does his most important work are almost always the moment he's completely silent. True strength doesn't make noise, doesn't look for applause, it doesn't post about its struggles on social media, and it doesn't demand validation. My father was absorbing the hits, filtering the chaos, and quietly building a hidden architecture of protection so that I would never have to feel the storm. This is the unseen, unacknowledged burden of fatherhood. It is a weight that reshapes a man's spine, and yet it is the one thing that most men will never ever talk about. When we look at the modern landscape and discuss the challenges men face today, the conversation usually circles around the same ideas: finding purpose, dealing with stress, handling the epidemic of isolation, but we rarely, if ever, talk about the silent pact the father makes with his family the moment his first child is born. Think about the fundamental difference in how protection is expressed. A mother's protection is fierce, immediate. It is a masterpiece of presence. You feel it in a touch, you hear it in a voice, and it blankets you in comfort. But a father's protection, it is an architecture of absence. A father works tirelessly to ensure that the things that have the power to break you never even reach your perimeter. He acts as a human filter. He goes out into a harsh, unforgiving world every single day, absorbs the toxic stress of financial anxiety, takes the professional humiliations on the chin, and carries the terrifying weight of an uncertain future. He wraps all of that chaos inside his own chest. He locks it away. And by the time that crushing pressure finally filters down to his children, he has transformed it. To a child, it doesn't look like terror. It just looks like a calm, boring evening in a safe house. A father quietly breaks his own back, and day after day, year after year, just so his family has a level floor to stand up straight on. And here is the heaviest part of that entire arrangement. He can never tell you he's carrying it. A father cannot walk through the front door, look at his children, and admit how fragile everything is. He can't tell you that he doesn't know if the money will last, or that his boss is breaking his spirit, or that he feels completely alone in the dark. Why? Because the moment a father admits he's terrified, the very foundation of a whole house begins to shake. So he stays quiet, he buries the panic, puts on a neutral face, and changes the light bulb. There's a trap that almost every son and daughter falls into. We spend our youth judging our fathers for their flaws. Because they are quiet, we assume they are simple. We keep a meticulous scorecard of their shortcomings, the things they didn't say when we wanted comfort, the games they missed because they were working overtime, the emotional distance we felt across the dinner table. We look for heroes in history books and political figures or on movie screens, completely missing the tired, greying man sitting right at the kitchen table at 5 o'clock in the morning, drinking coffee in absolute darkness before the rest of the world wakes up. But time is a cruel, uncompromising teacher. The illusion only vanishes when you are forced to step into the arena yourself. The exact moment you face your first real adult crisis, the moment the rent is overdue and the bank account is empty, the moment a major project you poured your soul into completely fails, or the moment the people you love look at you with panic in their eyes, waiting for you to have all the answers when you have absolutely none. That is when the scales fall from your eyes. In that moment of pure panic, you don't look for grand speeches, you look for a way to absorb the blow. And suddenly you understand exactly why your father didn't talk much. He didn't have the luxury of talking, he didn't have the energy to waste on words. He was using every single ounce of his strength just to hold up the world. If your father is still here and you still have the immense privilege of picking up a phone and making a call to him today, don't just give him a generic happy Father's Day. To be perfectly honest with you, the phrase is far too small for the debt you actually owe him. Happy Father's Day. Call him and let him know that you finally see the foundation. Tell him that you finally understand the invisible weight he carried in the dark all those years. And thank him. Thank him for keeping the storms away from your life for as long as he humanly could. Because even the strongest pillars, the ones made of stone and iron, need to know they held the house well before time eventually takes him away. Happy Father's Day.